So what is the definition for the test case description? Test case description is nothing but the objective of the test case or the purpose of the test case. Is it right? What is the meaning of test case description? The objective of the test case or the purpose of the test case. That means why you need to write this test case. What is the purpose? You need to write the purpose there. And what is this step description? As per our yesterday's class, step description is nothing but the action to be performed. The action to be performed. What is the expected result? It is nothing but the expected behavior of the system, expected behavior of the system based on the operations you performed, based on the operations you performed as per the requirements. So based on these operations, whatever the response you are expecting from the system, that is called as a expected result. Now, how to write the step description and how to write the expected result? We need to write the step description and expected result based on the use cases only. Based on the use cases only. Where is the use case? The use case is a part of your FRS. In that use case, we have actor action and system response. Already you know that in the use case, we have actor action and system response. So based on that actor action and based on the system response, we need to write this step description and expected result. Now, what is the test data? It is nothing but the data which is required to perform the operation on current step. The data which is required to perform the operation on current step. Now, what is the definition of test case? Now, as per our yesterday's class, what is the definition of the test case? So test case is nothing but set of steps. Yeah, exactly. Set of steps or sequence of with the user actions performed and the responses from the system. Right, Amma? With the user actions and the responses from the system documented. Why we are documenting all these things? Documented to validate a system. To validate a system. That means to testing a project. To testing a project. Right. That is our yesterday's class. Coming to the today's class. See, today we need to continue with the remaining test cases. See, yesterday we discussed the test case on the visitor links. Yesterday we discussed the test case on visitor links. And one more thing, yesterday I shared all the stuff in our drive. I think already you have this drive access. So in this drive, yesterday I shared the manual testing material. So here you can see the manual testing material. There is a folder. So presently, whatever the folder I am teaching, so the same folder, this manual testing folder, I copied and I pasted in the drive. Okay, Mo? So in that drive, you can see manual testing folder. Inside that, you can see class 1, class 2, class 3. In the bottom, you can see the Excel documents like a test scenario template, test case template, and all the templates are available. Now, where you can see the FRS or banking FRS. So here in the manual testing material, we have one more folder, examples. Inside the examples, okay, inside the examples, you can see banking FRS. You can see the banking or admin FRS. It is available in your drive. Please once check it out. Okay, ma'am?
But
Right.
actually, the test case thing is not mentioned over there. Like it's not there for the test cases. The example that we just saw now, it's
Yeah,
not
it
there.
is available, Amma. Once I'll show you.
Test scenarios are there.
Yeah,
Okay.
test scenario is there. After the
Yes.
test scenario, the next one is the test case. Once check it out, because the same folder I copied and pasted.
Okay. Sure.
See here, can we open or yeah, here I opened it. See here, you can see the test case is available. Right, Amma? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah, sure. I'll check mine
Yeah,
too later then.
yeah.
Okay. Thank
As it is the same folder I copied and pasted. I didn't edit it. Okay.
you. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
See here, and after this TC001, yesterday in TC001, we discussed the visitor links. We discussed the visitor links functionality. Now we need to verify the admin login, banker login, and so on and so on. Observe the TC002 and 003. See here, the TC002 is admin login with a valid input. TC003, admin login with a invalid input. Okay, ma? Admin login with a valid input and admin login with invalid input. So what is the test case description? We written test case description means the objective of the test case. So what is the objective of this test case? Verify the admin login with a valid username and password. Here verify the admin login with invalid username and password. Okay, with a valid username password with a invalid username password. Say observe the steps. Always the step should have proper beginning and proper ending. The navigation should be proper beginning and proper ending. So again, you need to write enter the URL. You should get a home page and enter the valid username password and click on login. If you enter the valid username password and login, then what you are expecting, the expected thing is it should display the admin home page. Why? Because we are entering the admin username password here. So you should enter into the admin home page. That is the expected thing. So similar to the TC003, verify the admin login with invalid username password. The first step is okay, enter the URL. The second step is invalid username, invalid password. But in future, we are going to see all the techniques. In future, I'll explain a technique like we need to verify the username and password like valid, invalid, invalid and valid, invalid, and invalid and valid. Finally, we need to check with invalid and invalid. So this is called as a decision table testing. This type of testing is called as a decision table testing. So in future, in a black box testing techniques, we are going to see all those techniques. But today, just roughly, I'm giving both invalid username and invalid password. So if you give the invalid and invalid username, then what is the system response? What you are expecting? System should display the corresponding error message. When you give an invalid username password, then what you are expecting? You are expecting it should display the error message. Now, how to know these error messages and everything? So this is available in your FRS only. See, once I'll go to FRS. Already you are familiar with our banking FRS. See, in FRS, how many points? In FRS, you know the 6 points. What is the last point in the FRS? In FRS, the last point will be the use case. In the use case, one side you have actor action, opposite side you have system response. Yesterday already we discussed the visitor process flow. Today's our concept is admin process flow. Here you can see username. Initially enter the URL, it should display the home page. And if you enter the valid username password and click on login, then it displays the admin module. Right, Amma? You got my point? So as it is, whatever the information is here, based on that, you need to write here. But if you give any invalid things, then what type of message it should display? So that is based on the input validations. Where is the input validations? Here you can see in FRS, the 4th point is input validations. So if you give any invalid data, then what type of message it should display? If you make it as a blank or if you make it as a invalid, then what is the error message? The error message will be displayed in the input validations. Right, Amma? Got it? So if you give any invalid data, then what should be the error message? Where is the error message? The error message is available in the input validations and error states. So based on that, you need to prepare your test case. See, please roughly note down the 002 and 003. Already yesterday you written a TC001. What is the TC001? TC001 is visitor links. Verify the visitor links. So today we discussed, at least you need to note down these points. TC001 is visitor links. 001 is visitor links. 002, 003. Now what are the 002, 003? Admin login with a valid input and admin login with a invalid input. So it should follow the naming convention. Now it should follow the test case ID should follow the naming convention. What is the meaning of naming convention? By seeing the ID, you should able to identify it is related to which project, it is related to which page, which module, so and so. and the functionality, which functionality you are going to test, which functionality you are going to test. So everything should be represented here. So this is called as a naming convention. See, next continuation 004, 005, banker login with a valid input, banker login with a invalid input. Okay, after the admin login, now you need to verify the banker login with a valid and banker login with invalid input. Same like the previous test case, verify the banker login with a valid username password. Here verify the banker login with invalid username and password. Steps. The first step is URL. Directly he cannot enter the username password. Already yesterday we discussed. Before enter the username password, he need to select the branch. After selecting the branch, enter the username password. So when he enter the valid username password, then it should display the banker module. What is the expected thing? It should display the banker module. So whereas coming to the invalid, same steps as it is, enter the URL, select the respective branch. Now you need to enter the invalid username password. When you enter the invalid username password, then what you are expecting, the expected thing is it should display the corresponding error message. It should display the corresponding error message. See, just note it down. 004 is a banker login with a valid, or 005 is a banker login with invalid. But this document is available in your material. Once check it out.
Yeah,
So
sorry, it's there. I
yeah,
rechecked it, it's there.
yeah, sure, sure. I mean, what I'm saying is everyone, no need to write it and no need to by heart it. Just try to understand it. Okay, ma? So just try to understand it. Today, I'll explain up to the TC 006 only. So today's your task is from 001 to 006. You need to understand these 6 test cases. It is enough for today. See, observe the 6th test case. The 6th test case is verify the customer login links. See, customer links means already you are familiar with that FRS. In the FRS, what is the customer links? The customer links means personal, corporate, international. If you click on personal, what's happening? It will display the login page for personal banking. Here it will display the login page for corporate banking. Here it should display the login page for international banking. Right, Amma? The same thing is available in our test cases. Just see. So this is for verify the customer links or customer login links. So the test case description, the objective of the test case. What is the objective? Verify all customer login links. Verify all the customer login links. Always the step 1 is enter the URL. I will get the home page. Next, the customer have to click the first link. Now, what is the first link? Click on personal. It should display the login page for personal banking. Here it should display the login page for corporate banking. Here it should display the login page for international banking. Login page for international banking. So just today you need to study these 6 test cases. So no need to by heart it. Roughly it is not a fair test cases, only for a rough idea only I explained all these things. In future we are going to see the black box techniques. The black box techniques means like BVA, ECP, decision table testing, use case based testing. So like that we have a different black box techniques. So in future we are going to see all those techniques. So for today, just roughly try to understand this rough test case. You should know the template and you should know the format and you should know the source. So based on which source we are going to prepare the test case. You should know the source. So that's why roughly I explained this particular test cases up to 001 to 006. So based on all these things, now we need to see the theory on your test case. So this theory is also available in your material. No need to write it. See, in your manual testing folder, already you have this folder with you. In that folder, you have a Excel, Word document. In the Word document, you have a theory, class number 2 test case. What is the Word document? Class number 2 test case. Now I'm going to explain that theory. So try to understand that theory. No need to write it. See, yesterday already I explained this definition. So test case is nothing but is a set of steps or a sequence of steps with the user actions performed and the responses from the system documented to validate a system. Already yesterday we discussed it. So today we need to complete the remaining thing. Just see, test cases are derived from the requirements and use cases. Already you know that. Now, what is the main source to prepare your test cases? To prepare the test cases, mainly we are depending on the requirement documents. So in that requirement documents, mainly we are depending on use cases. Mainly we are depending on use cases. Already you know that. Who is the responsible person to prepare the test case? We are the responsible person, like QA engineer or test engineers are responsible in deriving the test cases after the test scenario identification. So initially we need to identify the test scenarios. After the test scenario identification, we need to prepare the test cases. It is our job only. See, one more thing, where you need to write your test case. Always you need to write the test cases only in test case template, only in your template. Every company is having their own template. So in your company test case template only, you need to write it. And what are the qualities of a good test case? So when you can say like your test case is a good test case. See, test case should be simple, clear, and understandable. So don't write the test cases in a complicated way. So don't write a test cases in complicated. Always the test case should be simple, clear, understandable. It should be understandable to anyone. It should be understandable to anyone. Like that, in easy way, you need to prepare your test cases. And every test case should be unique. What is the meaning of unique? Unique means no duplication. Unique means no duplication. And no duplication means don't repeat the same test case again and again. Don't repeat the same test case again and again. Every test case should follow the naming convention. Every test case should follow the naming convention. Naming convention means already you know that. So by seeing the test case ID, you should able to identify the test case is related to which project or which module, so which functionality. So like that, by seeing the test case ID or test case name, you should able to understand the test case is related to which project, which module, which functionality. Everything should be in the name itself. And a test case should have a proper start and proper end positions. See, when you are writing the test case navigation, like a steps inside the test case, it should have a proper start and proper end positions. Don't start your navigation from the middle. Don't start your navigation from the middle. Always it should have a proper beginning and proper ending. Okay. See, next, where you need to write your test case, you need to write your test case in standard template. In your company template only, you need to write your test cases. And every test case should be traceable to the requirement. Every test case should be traceable to the requirement. That means by seeing the test case, we should able to identify the test case is related to which requirement. The test case is related to which requirement. Exactly, we can say like the test case is related to which use case. The test case is related to which use case. For example, coming to your yesterday use cases. In the FRS, how many use cases we discussed? We discussed the 4 use case diagrams and we discussed 4 use cases. For your understanding purpose, just I am doing this. What is the first use case we discussed? The first use case is visitor process flow. Just I'll copy from here to here. The first use case is, just I'm writing UC. UC means use case. It is my first use case. And what is the second use case in the FRS? In the FRS, the second use case is admin process flow. And in FRS, what is the third use case? The third use case is customer process flow. What is the fourth use case in your FRS? In FRS, the fourth use case is banker process. See, now coming to your test cases. It is a list of use cases. Now coming to the test cases. See, today how many test cases we discussed? Today we discussed 1 to 6, totally 6 test cases. See, now my question is, this TC001, test case 001 is coming under which use case? Here are displayed 4 use cases. So this particular test case is related to which use case? Can you guess? this is related to visitor links. TC001 is related to visitor links. So which use case this is one, right? So under this particular use case, we prepared a test case. The test case is TC001. Test case 001 is related to this particular use case. Now coming to this admin process flow. Under the admin process flow, what are the test cases today we discussed? Today we discussed 002, 003. These two test cases are related to say admin login with a valid input, admin login with a invalid input. So here these two test cases. What are the two test cases? 002 and TC003. So these two test cases are coming under admin process flow. So now coming to the customer process. See, under the customer process flow, which test case? So under the customer process flow, we have a test case TC006. TC006. And coming to the next one, banker process flow. Now, which test cases are related to this banker process flow? Say 004, banker login with a valid input, 005, banker login with invalid input. So here TC004 and TC005. So like that, your test cases should be traceable to the requirement. That means traceable to the use case. That means your test cases are related to which use cases. Your test cases are related to which use cases. Easily you should trace out like this. So why? What is the advantage? See, in future, we are going to see the traceability matrix. In future, we are going to see the traceability matrix. Maybe on tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we are going to see the traceability matrix. In the traceability matrix, we need to trace out the use cases and related the test cases. Why you need to map like this? Why you need to mapping like this? What is the advantage with this mapping? See, the advantage is in future, if any changes in the client requirement, that means if any changes in the use cases, then no need to modify all your test cases. Whatever the use case modified based on that particular use case, you need to modify the related test cases only. You need to modify related test cases only. For example, you prepared 500 test cases. After the 500 test cases, there are some changes in the client requirements. That means there are some changes in your use case. In that case, no need to modify all your 500 test cases. Which test cases you need to modify? First, you need to check which use case is modified. So for example, this particular use case was modified. Then which test case you need to modify out of 500? Out of 500, you need to modify only this TC006. No need to modify all your test cases. This is called as easily implementing the change requirement. What is the meaning of a change requirement? Change requirement is nothing but changes in the client requirement. In future, if any changes in the client requirement, no need to modify all your test cases. Whatever the use case modified, so based on that particular use case, you need to modify only the related test cases only. This is called as easily implementing the change requirement. For your understanding purpose, I'll explain a small example. See, for example, you are writing some examination, any examination. It may be a 10th class, intermediate, or +2, +3, so and so. You are writing some examination. So while writing your examination, you are writing the answer paper like this: 1A. I mean, in our childhood, we are writing like this, right? 1A, 2A, 3A. Like that, we written our examinations like this. See, like that, you are writing answers for all the questions. 1A means answer for first question, answer for second question, answer for third question, like that. Okay, you written 5 answers. The last 10 minutes is there. So you got an announcement. The announcement is the question number 2 was modified. Question number 2 was modified. In that case, so you are going to cross all your answers? No need to cross all your answers. So which answer you need to modify? So they said like only the question number 2 was modified. So you need to modify only this particular answer. You need to modify only this particular answer. No need to touch the remaining answers. No need to touch the remaining answers. Just you need to modify this particular answer only. Here also same. Assume like you prepared 500 test cases or 1000 test cases like that. After preparation of your 500 test cases, there is an announcement. There are some changes in the client requirements. So in generally, the client requirements are changed many times. So if the client requirements are changed in the middle, in that case, no need to modify all your 500 test cases. Whatever the use case modified, you will get a notice of which use cases modified. So based on that particular use cases, you need to modify the related test cases only. You need to modify the related test cases only. Okay, ma? Till this, are you okay? That's why while preparing your test cases, see, it should be traceable to the requirement. It should be traceable to the requirement. That means easily you should find out the test cases are related to which use case. Test cases are related to which use case. So now coming to the next step. So here in your test cases, if you have any links in your test case, if you write any links, so you need to check whether the links are properly working or not. So it should not have any missing links in your test cases. In your test case, if you written any links, so you need to verify the links are properly working or not. So if you take care of all these steps, then you can say like your test case is a good test case. Your test case is a good test case. Next, what are the fields in your test case template? See, in your test case template, already yesterday we discussed some fields. Now, what are the fields yesterday we discussed? Like project name, module name, document references. Which documents we refer to prepare these test cases? FRS document and the scenario. Author means you need to write your name. Remaining columns already you know, like a test case ID, test case description, step name, test data, everything you know. But today we need to see some more fields. See, what are the fields in your test case template? Project name, module name, created by. In some companies they are written like a prepared by. Created by or prepared by. You need to write your name or your employee ID. Created on or prepared on. So when the test case was prepared, the date, you need to mention the date. Reviewed by. Who will review the test cases? Test cases will be reviewed by your lead, your test lead. Reviewed by means who reviewed, who verified your test cases. Your lead, that person will enter his name or his employee ID. Reviewed on, when he conducted the review. Last time, when he conducted the review. So the date. Documents referred. Already you know that the documents referred are FRS document and test scenarios document. Now coming to the columns. In the test case, what is the first column? In the test case, already you know the first column is test case ID or test case name. Already yesterday we discussed. So what is this test case ID or test case name? It is the identifier for the test case. It is identifier for the test case. So that means it is same like a serial number. When you are writing a list in your home, any list, we are writing serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same like that. Just it is the identifier for the test case. It should be unique. It should be unique. Don't duplicate it. And it should follow the naming convention. Naming convention means it should contain the project name, module name, functionality, everything. What is the second column in your test case? The second column is test case description. Already you know this, number of times we discussed. It describes the objective of the test case or the purpose of the test case. And here the test case ID and the test case description, the both columns must be unique, for the entire document. Unique means don't duplicate it. Don't duplicate it. Next one, step name. What is a step name here? Step name means like a step identifier. Step identifier. Like a step 1, step 2, step 3, like that. But here, Once if you write one step name, don't repeat the same name, don't repeat the same name within the same test case. Within the same test case, don't repeat this name. The name can be repeated, the name can be repeated in another test case. Observe the second test case, here the same name is repeated and the same name is repeated in next test cases. But what is the rule? The step name should not be repeated within the same test case. Within the same test case, it should not be repeated. It can be repeated in next test cases. See, step name means simply it is a step identifier which is unique for every operation or which is unique for every test case. Which is unique for every test case. It can be duplicated in next test case. So the example is step 1, step 2, step 3 like that. Now what is a step description? Already you know that step description means the action to be performed. The action to be performed. Right. See here the action performed by the user on the system is called as a step description. Test data, already yesterday we discussed, it is the input required to perform the operation on current step. And to perform the operation on current step, whatever the input is required, that input is called as a test data. Expected result, already yesterday you written it, it is the expected behavior of the system based on the operations performed as per the requirements. So in some companies, they may mention priority. In some companies, so there may be one extra column like priority. Of course, severity, priority, both are two important concepts in bug reports. While we are discussing the bug reports, in future we are going to see the bug reports. In bug reports, severity and priority is very important concepts. But coming to the test cases, maybe in some companies, there is a concept like a priority in the test. It's not a compulsory, optional. Maybe in some companies, they mentioned this priority as a last column. See, this priority indicates the importance of the test case. The importance of the test case while executing the test cases or while implementing the test cases. For example, you have 100 test cases with you, but you don't have time to execute all the test cases. You don't have time to execute all the test cases. So in that case, first you need to execute high priority. Next you can execute the medium priority. Next you can execute the low priority. So while execution, while implementation, if there is no time with you, then you can follow this priority. So it defines the importance of the test case while executing the test case or while implementing the test case. It is often categorized into three, so like a high, medium, and low. Finally, coming to the review comments. Review comments means, so while review the test cases, who will review your test cases? Your test cases will be reviewed or verified by your lead, by your test lead. So when he conducted that review, so whatever the mistakes find out by your lead, so those mistakes will be written in the review comments. Your test lead will write the comments on your test case. So is it good or is it bad, and where you need to modify, and everything will be written in the review comments. This entire document is available in your material only. So the Word document, in your material, you can see the Word document, class number 2 test case. Today, you need to study this Word document. So today your homework is, first you need to open the Excel document, the test case Excel document. In the test case Excel document, from which test case to which test case you need to study? TC0012 to TC006. 6 test cases, try to understand. So after that, open this open this Word document, okay? And you need to study the entire test case Word document. Try to by heart or try to understand. Anyway, you should perfect with this document. So don't go with any pending sum. Why? Because if one day is pending, then continuously daily it will continue the pending. So that's why daily you need to complete your task the entire 3 months. So daily you should be active and finish the daily work on the same day itself. Don't keep it as a pending for tomorrow. Now, today you need to finish this test case document and TC0012 to TC006. Tomorrow I'll go with a next document. Tomorrow I'm going to explain the RCN, requirement clarification note, and tomorrow I'm going to explain the traceability matrix. So what is our tomorrow's class? Tomorrow's our class is RCN and traceability matrix. Why I explained the tomorrow's class? Why? Because see here, tomorrow's our traceability matrix is nothing but this particular today whatever the thing I explained, the mapping between the use cases and test cases. Mapping between the use cases and test cases. It is nothing but the traceability matrix. So that means again tomorrow we are going to see the same mapping but little some more extra fields. Maximum 50%. Again the traceability matrix is nothing but mapping between the use cases and test cases. This mapping is called as a traceability matrix. Tomorrow in depth we are going to discuss about the traceability matrix and we are going to discuss about the RCN.